Hey everybody, it is Quicken and welcome back to my channel. So a couple months ago I made a video called my most expensive tattoo versus my least expensive tattoo. And in that video I mentioned that I wasn't going to be including any tattoos that I had received for free. Which brings me to today's video where I will talk about the tattoos that I have had for free. So obviously this comes with a disclaimer. First of all, I'm really grateful for all of the tattoo experiences I have had and accumulated in the, last 10 years that I've been getting tattooed. So I don't want anyone to jump into this and think that I'm like ungrateful, and I don't want to pretend that like this may be a common experience among tattoo collectors. Opportunities, I guess, along the way for me to trade for tattoos and things like that have happened. So I will share every story attached with the free tattoos, but I don't want to create some sort of idea where you can ask for free tattoos. I know I've seen some buzz about like influencers asking for free tattoos, and I'm not one of them. I enjoy paying for the tattoos that I want. So the first tattoo I want to talk about is actually one of the first tattoos I ever got. And I have never ever told this story publicly about this tattoo. And this isn't a tattoo that I like particularly love, which is unfortunate because it was given to me as a gift. But this is, yeah, a tattoo that I don't really have much of a connection with. On Tumblr, I've been asked repeatedly if I'm going to get it covered or reworked or removed. But as someone told me once along the lines, like, no one sees the tattoo and it's doing its job covering a part of my body with tattoo. I don't hate how that sounds. This tattoo honestly has followed me for a long time, and then high-waisted clothing, well, I started wearing high-waisted clothing and completely forgot about this tattoo, and it is the skull on my hip. Was like, my hand was completely in like having this designed, and this is a tattoo I wanted. If we could go back and see like my internet history, this was something I was really into. And I think that like sugar skulls and stuff like that were a lot of people's first tattoo in the like MySpace, body modification, e-zine era. I think a lot of people now have either educated themselves on it or like shifted away from this. Back when I was researching getting the sugar skull tattoo, I did like surround myself in all the information around it, and I'm not trying to make that an excuse. So it was like the end of the school year, and I guess we're all like gonna go different paths and things like that. My one friend wanted to all get tattoos together, and it was pretty sweet. He was like my first like little boyfriend in middle school. I know that kind of sounds a little weird, and I definitely don't think about it when I like think about this tattoo, because from middle school to high school the friend group kind of like transformed, and everybody like kind of grew up and grew out of the things that made us like shitty middle schoolers. And I was really into that concept. And we also had like one friend who was older than us, so he had graduated high school. But my friend was like, I'm going to go into the army and this is what I want to do, and I'm like never gonna come back to this town and all of this stuff, so I think that we should all get tattoos and I will pay for them. At the time I was like, wow, like I would love to get a tattoo. This sounds great. So I believe I had my septum pierced at this tattoo shop that was like 40 minutes away from where we all lived. And I drove out there and talked to like the artist and stuff and started like figuring things out. And I picked the artist and everything at the tattoo shop, and then like told them like about the tattoo shop, and they came and like looked at artist portfolios and kind of picked things out. I realized like the day of that I had picked like the biggest tattoo, and the one kid like going into the army had picked like kind of some text, like a quote, and then I believe the other kid had picked out like a smaller symbol or also text. I feel like most of the people got text tattoos, which is pretty like on brand for 2008. Yeah, I ended up with this pretty big skull. I paid for the tip, and I remember feeling really, really bad that I had picked something bigger. But, you know, it was pretty nice, and I don't have like a lot of tattoos where it was like all of us going in for a friendship tattoo. And like, obviously I'm a person of like guilt and like things like that. So I have always felt like I owed him a tattoo as well. He like doesn't even live in the state anymore. A couple years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, I got a DM from him who was like, I like came across his radar and he said he was really proud of me like for like doing YouTube and stuff, which is always like pretty exciting. I got that tattoo for free. It's pretty big, so I've always felt kind of bad about it. So I'm pretty sure his tattoo he got on his ribs. We all got tattooed at the same time by different artists, and it was like one of the first times I ever had the chance to like go and like do research and like experience all this stuff, and it was pretty fulfilling. I feel like the tattoo experience now, 10 years later, is nothing like this. So I do like this tattoo because it is one of my more sentimental tattoos in that way. I did get that tattoo for free. I don't think it's like very good, and I don't flaunt it or feel like it represents my collection or even my taste, but it is kind of like a little like growing up kind of tattoo. So moving on, my next tattoo is on my forearm. And I actually paid to have the outline done. You may know this story. So I had paid to have the outline done on this tattoo, and it is a very simple traditional tattoo. So it was weird that the tattoo artist wanted to break it up into 2 sessions. It was the first tattoo I ever had on my lower arm. So for me, it was a pretty big step into having visible tattoos. Until then, I had pretty large tattoos on my upper arm, but they could be covered by a sleeve. So up until then, you know, it was like my big like tattoo that would put me into the like visible tattoo club. There's so much drama in this story, but I do forgive the tattoo artist, but I will spare you his name. I had this tattoo done and he wanted to call it quits after we had the outline done. And I did like have like this relationship with him where I had been getting tattooed by him for a little while. So when he was like, oh, let's call it quits here, like I was like, okay, like there was an established trust there. I like walked him out, he like wrapped it up, he like smoked a cigarette and we chatted, and then I went home. So in about 2 to 3 weeks, I called the shop to make an appointment with him. This was years ago, so he wasn't on Instagram, either was I. So called the shop the old-fashioned way, and they were like, he's not here. Do you know where he is? And I was like, no, I'm his client. I don't really even know his real name. I know his like tattoo name. So they were like, yeah, we can't find him. All of his stuff is gone and we haven't heard from him. He started this tattoo on me and didn't finish it. And I had this tattoo unfinished for about a year. And in that year, I had been building other tattoos. I got that bigger like birdcage rib cage on my thigh. And the tattoo shop, when I was on the phone with them, offered to finish it for me. But at the time I wasn't very comfortable with that idea. I was like, he'll show up, he's around, like he's not kidnapped or something, like it sounds like he just picked up his stuff and left. But like I said, like social media wasn't very present then, so I couldn't just hit him up and be like, yo. When I had the birdcage rib cage done, I had asked that tattoo artist at the time like what I should do, like asked for help, and he said like, if that tattoo artist for sure like skipped town, I'll finish it for you, but there are aspects of this tattoo I don't understand. And I was like, okay, ouch, my feelings. I had to wear this tattoo forever. But like I get it, like the rope is weird. So like I had this tattoo unfinished for like a year, and in my mind I just kept thinking like I should have pressured him to finish the tattoo. There's so few elements of color in here, it would have taken 45 more minutes. So that was weird, and then people were like, you needed 2 sessions for that tattoo. I ended up feeling really weird about it. The winter comes and my friend's dad calls me and he's like, your tattoo artist is here at my bar. And I was like, keep him there. And I went, I just like, whatever I was doing, whatever I was wearing, I was like, what? I've been waiting for this. Like, you have no idea, like an itch I couldn't scratch. I was like, that guy owes me. So literally I went straight there, showed up, and I was like, hey buddy, what's up? Finish my tattoo, please. I'm not mad at you. So he had explained things to me, and he said the policy at that tattoo shop was just like, he really didn't like it. Later on, a couple years later, a huge controversy attached to that tattoo shop came out. So at the time, I was really bothered by him, but then as that stuff became more apparent, I was like, I am not bothered by you, but mad at you. So he offered to finish the tattoo for me for free. That was really nice of him. It was a ton of drama, a ton of heartache, and I mean, I don't want to say I feel like he owed it to me to finish it for free, but I don't know why he never finished it in the first place, because it's all my tattoos since then. I tried to get done in one session, or like a tattoo artist who I know would never do that, so it did teach me a lesson. So the next tattoo that I ended up getting for free is like this foliage that is underneath my bumblebee tattoo. And at the time there was this traveling tattoo artist coming around, and he had posted something that he was like looking for a shop. And at the time, you guys might remember, I was filming in this like studio space. So I had this studio space. It was kind of like a shared space that it was like a storefront, but then it became like an appointment only storefront, and then I was also filming videos in there, and then another friend of mine was also using it as like a mixed space, and then they would also host pop-up shops. So I had keys to it, and at the time it was my friend Ryan's space, so I asked him if like it was okay if somebody tattooed in there for a week, and he said yes. So we hosted this tattoo artist, and in exchange he traded me a tattoo. Honestly, it was Ryan's space, so Ryan should have got the tattoo. But Ryan was like, no, like, you know what you want, like, go ahead and get it, like, that's so cool. So yeah, it was kind of like this really cool moment where I was able to like use connections and like a space that I had and lend it to this traveling tattoo artist to like set up shop and do work in and like meet with people. So that was really cool, and like something that's really like a really cool memory, and something that's important to me, and also something that I feel like Ryan potentially gifted to me, because he did like allow this tattoo artist to come, and like just on faith that like I was like, no, he's great and I trust him, and like he does amazing work and he deserves to like just like come here. So I didn't film there for the week, but like that wasn't a big deal at all. The experience was sick. The next tattoo that I got for free is actually this like silly tattoo of like this skeleton riding a bottle. And I got this tattoo done by an apprentice who was working in a shop, so they were still charging, but I believe they were charging apprentice rates. And I used to work on South Street at a streetwear shop, and it was my birthday. And at the time I was straight edge, so my boss was like, I don't even know what to do for you. Like, I can't take you out to the bar. Like, I don't know what to do. You don't eat meat. I don't know where to take you. My buddy does tattoos. Why don't you go get yourself a tattoo for your birthday? Fuck yeah. At the time, I really did not have a lot of tattoos, so I was kind of able to make these decisions on a whim, because I was like, there's plenty of space. Now, not really. If someone offered to give me a tattoo for my birthday, I'd really have to think about it. But at the time, I was young and had a ton of space and was like dead broke. And I don't hate it. It gets a lot of hate. I remember I was getting tattooed somewhere, and like someone was like looking over and was just like pointing at that thing. I get it. I feel like I have an appointment to get a cover up, to get tattoo removal, and I feel like I always like put that thing on my list, but I'm always like on the fence. So I got this tattoo for free from an apprentice that was friends with my old boss, and my boss like agreed to pay him. At the time, I think he didn't know, because I got there and I was like, Phil sent me, and he was like, cool. And then I was like, Phil told you he's paying for it, right? And he was like, oh, God damn it. I don't know. That all worked out, and that was pretty cool. So that's a tattoo I got for free. If I ever get it removed, it will cost hundreds of dollars to get removed. I've coped with that, but that's what it is. So my final tattoo that I ended up getting for free, I think. One second. Sorry, had to look at my body real quick. I believe this is the last tattoo that I got for free. Not to say that I haven't received like, you know, like discounts or like homey stuff. And I did have a tattoo finished for like free, but then I tipped tons of money because that was insane. But so the last tattoo I got for free is actually this Matchstick. And I do really like this tattoo, but some of you guys may know the story behind this. I went to interview this tattoo artist to be on my show. They had approached me with this concept and I really, really liked it, like went full force into it and traveled to go see them. And the night before I was supposed to get there, they were like, you should let me tattoo you for the video. And I was like, oh, like I don't need any tattoos. Like that was last year, and still I kind of feel like my body's filling up pretty quickly, so I am getting like a lot more particular about the tattoos I choose. And they were like, no, like let me tattoo you for the video. And I was like, okay. And they were like, it's the least I can do. And I was like, wow, okay, like that's nice, because I did have to travel out there. Not that it cost an arm and a leg, but I kind of like justified the trade. I was like, okay, sounds cool. I did have an idea that I wanted a Matchstick tattoo, and I did need filler, and I really do love how the tattoo turned out and looked. I went out there, we did the interview, and then he started to tattoo me. He drew the tattoo on freehand, and it's really cool because it really does fill up that space. So I really do love this tattoo. And then he drove me back to the train station. So I had filmed this entire video with us together, and then, so my videos generally come out on Tuesdays. Monday night, he had asked me not to post it. He was like, you know, keep the tattoo as like the memory and whatever, but you know, I'm having second thoughts on this video being posted. And then he didn't give me much more information about that. And I kind of like pleaded with him. I was like, hey, this video was like days in the making. It takes me hours and hours to edit these videos. I've heard different things from different people that like the shop had a problem with it, but then that didn't really make sense to me, because when I went there, I feel like I was pretty welcomed and people were excited and things like that. So the artist actually moved, no longer works at that shop. I think no longer goes by that name anymore. I do have the video unlisted on my YouTube channel in my like Tattoo Talk Tuesday playlist, just because like, one, I posted it there so I could send it to him so he could see it, and like I saw that he had watched it and he just like cut off communications with me, so it was pretty sad. So like, not all free tattoos, I guess, turn out to be happy stories, but at least in my case, like it's definitely not one of his signature tattoos, and I do really love it. And because he worked at like a street shop that takes in like walk-ins or like whatever people want, it definitely is in like that street shop kind of style, which I like. I really do like his tattoo work, and I did follow him because I liked his story and like the work he did and things like that. But to this day, it's definitely really unsettled, like what happened from someone else's perspective. Like I got out of it with a free tattoo, but at the same time, I do feel like I earned the tattoo because of the time spent editing and things like that. And although he did agree to be interviewed, although I do like this tattoo, I had posted it on my Instagram and then like changed the caption and stuff because I was initially very hurt by the situation and haven't really done many interviews since. But it is a tattoo that I did not pay any currency for. So if it goes along the lines of like trades, and like I've been approached by like maybe 3, maybe 5 if you count cosmetic tattoo artists, to trade for time on my YouTube channel or an Instagram post. And for that, like I definitely am a little more weary of that. And I do get approached by tattoo artists who don't tattoo in my style, so I'm not totally interested in that either. I'm never like rude about it, but I understand like it would definitely be promo, but I'm not sure if I want any like promotional tattoos. And also with cosmetic tattooing, I feel like you really have to pick someone who is like amazing and putting out amazing work, and they have healed pictures, and that's amazing. So I just didn't want to like take any risks because it's my face. Anyway, let me know what you think about this video. Sorry that some of it's like wrapped in the drama, but you know, you collect tattoos for a couple years and I feel like it comes with some bumps and bruises along the way. Let me know if you guys have any tattoos that you ever got for free, if you ever traded for a tattoo. I've seen tattoo artists who are like, my iPhone broke, if you have an iPhone, I'll trade you a tattoo. I've seen that a lot, so maybe like even that, definitely share your experience. If it is your first time here, please sound off in the comments. I'd love to know how you found this channel, and thanks for becoming a part of this family of people. I think everyone's pretty supportive, and definitely introduce yourself in the comments. I have an Instagram that you can follow where I occasionally post pictures of my tattoos, and it is a great index for the tattoo artists I love because I follow them. So you can check me out at Quiet Cool Kid. Definitely check out the Tattoo Talk Tuesday playlist. I'll have that link below. There's over 100 videos if you have any questions. I love you guys so much. If you want your question answered on Tattoo Talk Tuesday, leave it in the comments down below or tweet me at Quiet Cool Kid on Twitter. I love you guys so much. Until next time, bye.